The hype on the new map is just building even more. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds just today, super early this morning for me, posted the official name Miramar, or potentially Miramar. Don't quote me on any of the pronunciations, okay? But I'm going to try my best. And revealed to us the official map, although we did get to see a brief picture of this through being data mined in the past, and of course some more screenshots with details of some of the cities on this map, and we can kind of determine where some of these photos now go. At the end of this post, it says this will be playable during the final test round before PUBG hits version 1.0. Of course, we have this game coming out to the consoles December 12th. Potentially, that's what they call version 1.0, and it releases to PC as well at that time. If that's the case, then we will see this map on the test server within the next week. But I still think even if that is the case, it's unlikely this will release when the game does on Xbox. We don't have any word when this is going to be on test servers or public yet, but I will let you know and definitely be playing it on test server once it's available. Speaking of console, it was also recently confirmed that regardless of which Xbox version you have, the game will be locked at most of 30 frames per second. But we did get a lot of new information today alongside this new post, as well as with these images. They opened the post saying this map will play different from Erangel, which is the current map in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and that a lot of the strategies that you used in that map will need to be different here. There's no more big, lush fields, which I assume would provide a lot of concealment, right? Just proning into the fields. This is instead flat desert, and there's not a lot flat to it, actually. Looking at the pictures with the amount of trees, the amount of hills on this, it seems like it actually will be pretty densely populated with terrain. And of course, we're still going to have water and an island as well. Actually, 2 islands on this map. Down at the south side once again, and even some more islands over off of the east coast. These were some of the photos that we had previously seen. A lot of the cities, a lot of the rocky environment. Now we get to see a little bit more of the waterfront and where these positions are relative to each other. Let's start at the top of the list, though. The biggest city here is Los Leones. This is down in the southeast corner of the map and definitely takes up a very large portion of it. I assume this picture ties in with it, but the description is that this is the largest city, has ample shopping, the skyline is filled with new construction, and a glorious golden-hued city center in it. Players should secure high vantage points by exploring numerous construction sites and loot gear in cavernous, abandoned commercial buildings. So we will be able to go in at least some of these and go on top of them for vantage points as well. Now, just off to the southeast of this city, it looks like there's probably going to be a big mountain range there, and just past that is Puerto Paraíso. There's no specific description for this, however, I believe this screenshot matches with that position. On the east side of the map, you do see a chain of kind of independent islands, and on the right side of this image, you see an extra island as well. There's also some big hills up in the top left, which I believe just on the other side of that is our big city. One of the other new images that we got to see was the prison. And we now know that this is going to be down in the bottom left corner of the map, down on the island. Not only is this prison extremely densely populated with crates, buildings, watchtowers, but also the surrounding mountains that are there are very steep, which I think you're going to be able to get on top of and get some really good vantage points into the prison as well. I imagine that's going to be very highly populated with loot. Moving up a little farther north, up in the top left, we have another little area called Chu Mazetti. We have a description for this saying that this is the husk of Miramar's once thriving textile industry. Long abandoned factories overlook a main road lined with residential and commercial buildings. Verticality in both the building and terrain make this town an exciting location to loot high-risk, high-opportunity. Those images were all the most detailed and where we could really specify key locations on the map. Besides that, though, NVIDIA posted a few weeks back some more shots from around the new desert map, although I can't quite pinpoint where these locations are. We did get a couple more descriptions of the other major cities, and we can also figure out some information just by looking at the map, which I'll go into in a minute. But over the last few days, we've also got some more hard information with some pictures, including an exclusive vehicle to the desert map, this pickup truck, the Win 94 rifle, which is a Winchester 94 lever action, The description says that this will be a world spawn gun, meaning you don't need to fight for it in the crates, but it is exclusive to the desert map, as is the new double-barreled sawed-off shotgun. Now, the shotgun doesn't necessarily specify that it is just a general spawn. However, we still have yet to see a shotgun be put in the crates only, and it would have to be pretty extremely powerful if it was a crate drop, so I assume this is going to be a world drop as well. So then, what is the rest of the information that we can draw from the text? To start, in the top right, or the northeast corner, we're going to have Campo Militar, aka the new military base. Currently on Erangel, we have a really strong draw to the very south end of the map with the military base. Now with the military base up at the top with so many other cities there as well, we might see a reversal with more concentration up towards the top of the map, with of course still a popular island, I assume, at the bottom. And as I mentioned, they described quite a few more of these cities. Starting down at the bottom, just north of that island, Valle del Mar is a colorful oceanside town bisected by the Del Toro Bridge. To the west of the town is a quaint school. To the east is a beautiful church, so we're still going to have a school in this place as well. The key to holding this town is bridge control, and it's the only direct route between mainland and the island, so we're still going to get bridge camping as well. A lot of good things from the original. We already talked about Los Lienes and Chu Mazetti. Just north of that, though, is Pecado. Once a tourist destination featuring the largest casino in the region, it continues to thrill players to this day with its mix of high-value loot and dangerous sightlines. Aggressive players will immediately loot the arena as well as the casino. So there's going to be two places there with high loot, also having high exposure, easy to kill, and between them is going to be a 4-story hotel. Likely you're going to be able to get good sightlines on these two open areas, so it's going to make it even riskier. Moving slightly northwest from there, we could follow the road to Monta Nuevo, which is the picture of a town besieged. Ramshackle walls built to protect its residents now allow players ample cover to explore the well-stocked compound. It looks relatively small, but just north of it is another larger city, El Pozo. This is a city known for large industrial and entertainment districts. Players can test themselves against all comers in the Luchador Arena, put their motorcycle skills to the test in the Death Bowl, or hunt in the ruins of long-dead textile factories. La Cobreria, the shipping and transport capital of Miramar? Its most prominent feature is its rail yard. Here, players will hunt and be hunted alongside the half-buried cargo and the long-dead industry. Careful players should loot the schools and campuses that dot this town before attempting to hold the yard. Probably going to be much more open. Just south of that, now making a triangle around what seems to be crater fields, is San Martin, which is described as having checkpoints and barriers which had transformed this once quiet small town into a war zone. Both sides of the town have overlooks, so careful players should scout first before charging into town. It's hard to tell the elevation or the height of these towers, but this city is pretty central to the map, so this could be a really strong vantage point for quite a distance, similar how the water tower is to Rozhok on Erangel. But that is the extent of the information that we have on this new map so far, and overall, I am extremely excited for it. Not only is the terrain going to be different, but the layout is quite different, and maybe it's just because this is all so new to me, but it looks like there's a lot more places to loot, especially just off the beginning for this map. And they could even potentially add more, like we saw them do with Erangel out in the northeast corner with Stalber and Kamishki, those new areas. Just the overall amount of named places, though, is greater than the initial map, which makes me think that there is more places to loot. It's hard to tell just with a map, but this does raise concerns for me in terms of the pacing of the game. This has been one of my bigger complaints about the game in general for the current map, in that if you go somewhere highly populated, you'll have a very nice fast start. The middle of the game can be very slow, even if you're trying to run around and find people. And then, of course, the ending is extremely intense, and it's a very long game. Initially, when they were looking to make this map, it was said that it was going to be half the size as Erangel, the main one that we currently have, which would mean almost twice as fast games, twice as many engagements with everybody. But if the map is just as big and now there's even more places to loot, that might just mean a slower early game as well, if people just end up spreading out farther away from each other to get all of their own individual loot spots. They did say they didn't like how the game played with half of the size, so they ended up doubling it and making it the same size as the original map. We'll just have to see how the actual map plays once we get our hands on it, and that's why it's going to come to test servers first to see if it's stable, to see how it plays, see how the new guns line up with the other ones. And I'm still as excited as ever because I'm ready to see something new and discover something new. Let me know what you guys think, though. That's for this one. This is Stonemouse64. Over and out.